Reorganization meeting for Middlesex County Ethics Board. All please rise, salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can just make sure all your mics are on. There should be a green light on them.
Yeah, Mayor, you're going to do, let me,
Go ahead.
no, then you're in charge. I'm going to pro tem until we elect the chairperson and the vice chairperson. This meeting is in accordance with notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10 et sec, and has been complied with and shall be entered upon the minutes. You'll take.
Robert Dudas Jr.,
Present.
Daniel Frankel,
Present.
David Himmelman, Albert Musiker,
Present.
Robert Seeger.
Here. As indicated, I just pro tem until we elect the officers. Mr. Himmelman was going to be here, but had another commitment and could not be here, nor could he be present with the telephone. Based upon the four young people here, there is a quorum and business can be commenced. I will, just as a pro tem, to get the officers, do I have a motion to appoint or elect a chairman of this committee?
I'll make a motion. Before we do that,
Yes, sir.
Should we be appointing our counsel so you can go ahead and do this or no?
Well, I was good. That's a good, Mr. Frankel, you're on the ball. I was going to go after that, but fine.
Okay.
Is there a recommendation or an offer or resume was provided by Mr. Anthony Vignolo of the firm of Boris Gold, Foley, Vignolo, Hyman Stahl to appoint himself or any designee of that firm to act for this board as a counsel. Is there a motion to accept that appointment?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Franco. No, we're a team. Is there now a motion to elect the chairman of the committee?
I have a motion
Yes, sir.
for Mr. David Himmelman to be chairman of the Ethics Board.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, Mr. David Himmelman is chairman of the Middlesex County Ethics Board. Is there a motion for the vice chairperson?
Make a motion for Mayor Cedar.
Is there a second?
Second.
You don't have a choice, Mayor Cedar.
I know.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
All right, Mayor Cedar, the floor is yours and the agenda is yours, sir.
Okay. We have Robert's Rules of Order.
I think it's a motion to accept Robert's Rules of Order
Right.
as the publication to which the board will comply as to all motions, elections, etc.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
Mr. Cedar, I did omit the fact that we have to elect a secretary.
Okay. So we'll jump around a little bit. Can I have a nomination for a secretary, please?
What do we do? I think that Mr. Frankel was going to be the secretary.
You're going to have to nominate me.
I would love to nominate you for secretary, yes. I'll nominate Mr. Frankel.
And I'll second it. Any other nominations? If not, close the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? No. Okay. Now we go ahead with the meeting dates, times, right?
Mr. Frankel, you abstained, correct?
I abstain. That's right. I abstain, yes.
He meant to, he did.
Yeah, we've got, first is the meeting, we don't have to vote on that as a resolution, or we just accept that as,
Well, we're going to fix the dates as set forth on the resolution entitled Fixing Time and Date of Middlesex County Ethics Board Meetings, and then accept a motion to accept that.
Can I have a motion to accept the times and dates of the meetings, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstains, any noes? Okay, we're good to go there. Can I have a motion to accept approvals of the March 15th, 2017 meeting, please?
Mayor, just one, in staying in order, just a question. Is there approval of minutes from the 2017 reorganization meeting first?
Yeah, we have 9, 10.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I passed right over. I'm sorry. Thanks, Mr. Frank. You should be the chairman. I'm sorry. But, can I have a motion to accept the minutes of the 2017 reorganization meeting on January 31st, 2017, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, now, any corrections or additions? Anything? No?
All those in favor?
If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstains? No. Now we'll go to the March 15th meeting. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes of the March 15th meeting, special meeting, March 15th, 2017?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Second. Any corrections, additions, or questions? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? No. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes of the August 10th, 2017 special meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections or, no? If not, it's all in favor, say aye. Any abstains or, no? Do we have any old business?
No.
No? Do we have any new business and correspondence? No?
No.
Do we have any action by the Board of Warner? We don't have any action today. This time I'll open up this portion of the meeting for public comment, please. If anybody has a question or concern, please state your name and address. That's what it's. Oh, boy.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Charles Cradaville. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today. I'm also a resident of New Brunswick and a concerned citizen here.
Mr. Credible, just to interrupt you just once. I know we all, and I say this with respect, we all know you, but just for the record, could you spell your last name, please?
Absolutely. Kratovil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Certainly. And I don't know you well, Mr. Stoll, but I wanted to ask whether or not you'll be filing a financial disclosure form if you're going to be representing the board.
Mr. Credible, my understanding, and I'm not trying to be contentious, that this, Mr. Vignolo is the primary designee, but in order that this board is always properly represented, the firm has been also designated on the minutes, on the resolution, as the attorney for. I believe the issue, and I will consult with Mr. Vignolo, and maybe you can remind me, I thought the issue of the requirement of the board attorney with regard to financials, I thought that was resolved, that there was no such obligation. I may be thinking of a different venue.
Indeed, this board made that finding. The New Brunswick Ethics Board did not make the same finding. The local finance board did not make that finding. And I think that the rule is that any board where the members must file financial disclosure statements, their attorney must as well. So for the record, Mr. Vignolo did file in 2017, and that was a good step in the right direction. And since you're representing the board as well, I just want to know if you're going to do the same.
If Mr. Vignolo filed that disclosure, I will obtain the form, and I have no reluctance to file such a form.
Okay, good to hear. Thank you for your commitment to do that. Since you
Time.
may I have another minute or two?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Since you know Mr. Vignolo, can you tell me if he is on the board of directors for Brunswick Bank and Trust?
I believe he is.
Okay. Well, then I have a concern about his form that he filed. It's a good thing he filed the form, but he did not list Brunswick Bank and Trust on that form. And I believe that should have been listed as a business interest of his, and also perhaps the income from that. If he's paid more than $2,000 over the year before, he should have listed it for that reason.
Mr. Cradwell, you will see that, we are cooperative and will be very responsive. I will check with Mr. Vignolo. I do not know, so I won't even guess, whether or not that position is one for which compensation is paid. All right, it may be an advisory, I'm not sure. I will discuss that with Mr. Vignolo on the phone. If there is pay or compensation and it's to be treated as a business, I will discuss it with him, and if necessary, he will file an amendment to the form. I do not know when he was appointed for the board, whether it was 2017, but I will take that up.
I appreciate you doing that, and I do have 3 complaints that I'd like to file with the board staff today, including one that deals with that matter. So I believe because of that, Mr. Stahl wouldn't be eligible to represent the board on a matter involving his law partner. So the board's going to need special counsel. And I know what you did last time was that you got a assistant county counsel to participate in these matters, and I don't believe that was the right course of action, and I think that what the New Brunswick Ethics Board did was a better course of action. They actually retained special counsel, someone who's not connected to the same political circles, and just to be sure that I do also have a complaint against Mr. Kelso, who's the county counsel. So if there's any doubt about it now, the county counsel's office should not be involved in adjudicating these matters either, because I have here a very substantial and significant complaint involving the expenditure of $12 million in county funds that I would like the board to evaluate. And lastly, I do have a complaint against the county prosecutor for the matter that I've brought up here several times. And so I would like the board to address these in accordance with your bylaws, and you'll need to retain counsel if it's not conflicted. So,
well, Mr. Cradwell, with respect, and when I say this to certain people, well, some people say it and don't mean it, but in this venue, with respect, I have to look at those complaints. I have to see what they are about. I have to see whether or not they represent a conflict. I understand your position, but you have to give me the courtesy and Mr. Vignolo of reviewing them to see what the content is and what the allegations are, and then we will advise the board properly as to what, if any, action to take. Because I have to look at them.
absolutely. Well, thank you for your respect, and the respect is mutual. I'm not a lawyer, but
Doesn't matter. We're all human beings, so that's where we are. I don't want to get preachy, but it doesn't matter what I am or not. All right?
understood. Yeah, my common sense dictates that your firm or the county council should not be involved in the adjudication of these matters, and the board should take action to.
Well, just let me ask you a question.
Council's not.
Since we have a dialogue, and I'm not worried about, the record you're making, is it your position that the firm is disqualified from all 3, or only the one dealing with Mr. Vignolo?
I believe, my position, again, not a lawyer, but my position would be that the firm should step aside from the role of representing this board until such time as the complaint is resolved against Mr. Vignolo.
No, I understood. I'm trying to focus. Your suggestion or your position is that the firm cannot act as counsel for Mr. Vignolo, but you're not taking the same position as to county prosecutor and county counsel, and you're not a lawyer, and I'm not trapping you into this, because we'll make our own decision. But it's your position that the firm is also disqualified from representing the board in the review of Mr. Kelso's complaint, your complaint, and the other one, or just the one?
It's my understanding there's some time frames that have to be met, and until such time as the complaint is adjudicated, I don't think that your firm should be involved in representing the ethics board in any way, including the other 2 matters which need to be addressed swiftly. And additionally, I do believe that the county council recommended the hiring of your firm, so there's a bit of a conflict there with the county council. and your firm, where you shouldn't be sitting in judgment of one another, because the reason your firm is here is because of the county council's recommendation to hire you. And I would just encourage the board that you have the freedom to hire a counsel that's not conflicted, and look at the example of what New Brunswick did. They hired an attorney who's not politically connected, not from Middlesex County, and he was able to educate the board on what the rules and the laws were without being subject to conflict. And I would just like to see the ethics board retain a counsel that's not conflicted, so that they can handle these matters and get
The council will take it under advisement. The staff secretary, as opposed to Mr. Frankel, will make copies of the complaint, and the board will respond as required. I don't want to take over the meeting, I just want to respond.
Appreciate the dialogue, and thank you. Just one last suggestion: the 3 p.m. meetings are not conducive to the public being involved, and even the chairman couldn't make it today. So I would encourage you to, if you do have to schedule a special meeting, to consider scheduling it in the evening. It's also easier to find parking. Thank you.
Under advisement. Thank you.
The 3 complaints that you have served, we'll use the word served upon the staff secretary, will be entered in our records and then distributed to the board. And as I said, we'll respond as required under the rules.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Make a motion that we close the public comment.
Second.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Frankel.
Do you take a vote for the end of the
All in favor, say aye, I guess, right?
Aye.
You're good.
We'll see you in a bit.